Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We are here with another exit interview for the Amazing Race 32.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can find a link in the description. All right, our very special guests are here. Everybody say hello to Leo and Alana.
Welcome, Leo and Alana. Thank you so much for spending time with us today and chatting with us. We have loved watching you, and we're so excited to talk to you.
Yes, but sad
you're
yours.
We're big fans back.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's start with the repelling roadblock. Was there anything in the clue that alluded to this word puzzle? How did this go down?
I cannot really tell you for sure what was in any clue. However, I don't remember reading about letters, and I definitely didn't see any letters the first time down. And I think that was in the episode. And then she said, unscramble the letters. And I said, I'm going to have to go back up.
Huh. And you're not the only one.
I definitely wasn't the only one. D'Angelo was featured as doing the same thing. I think many teams, other than the ones who were given a heads up. Yeah.
Huh.
So is it the fear of going rappelling down a building? You just didn't see the letters, or are they really not as bright as they appear?
I think a little of both. I mean, in the way they show it, all you can see are the letters.
Yeah.
Right? So it's obvious. But I think, when you're there, not everything's backlit or whatever. And so you see all of Berlin going down. So I was mostly just looking at the sidewalk. I mean, maybe they're right below me.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been me. I would not have seen, I would have been like, there were absolutely no letters. I don't know what you're talking about, because I would have been so terrified. But I also loved watching you, watching your brain work as you're trying to unscramble the word, and how you were like, I bet it's a German word that we use in English. And I put the K and the R together, and I'm like, yes, you have it. You're so close.
There's no C, not a lot of words with K's and not C's. Yeah, that was fun to see, and also kind of fun in the moment when I started to have a train of thought, because there were, a lot of time went by both with Aparna and I just staring at each other, being like, why won't our brains help us right now? How could we even begin? She had memorized the letters in a different order than I had, and we were both sort of unwilling to switch the order because we might lose it all at that point.
Right.
So, but once you started thinking USA or AKTUR, right? Those are the letters. And once you've got the letters locked down, how do you unscramble words in general?
And they wouldn't let you write anything down. So it wasn't like Leo could get out a pen and paper. I also, small plug to Leo for being one of two people to actually figure it out, right?
We're
the people that did it, and everyone else got lucky and we looked for someone else.
I wonder.
Good job.
I wonder if they. Yeah, my brain was sometimes useful during the race. I wonder if they would have allowed us to take a small pebble and write on the sidewalk.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
So speaking of your brains and working through things with your minds, explain to us what happened with the spear situation in Kazakhstan.
We should mention the swords.
Well, that was only the first time.
Well, that was starting from the first time. We thought we were counting swords.
We thought we were counting swords, and then when we realized we were counting spears, I mean, some of the flags had pointy tips, and I don't think either of us could get out of our head that pointy tipped flags were also spears. And we just for whatever reason, maybe we were too cold or too tired or whatever, we just could not figure it out. We eventually got 5, not by looking and being oh, actually there's 5 spears, but by guessing down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Oh my God.
Those wonderful extras had to reenact that 10 times. And we just knew, we were we're going to keep trying to look, but we were we just can't get, our brains are just not locking into this.
And think about it. You don't know what you're doing wrong, right? And so the first few guesses, after we got the swords out, but that does give you a sense for how little we know about medieval Central Asian weaponry, right? For we don't have the subject matter knowledge, but it's not a counting issue actually. But once we didn't know what we were doing wrong, and so there's a risk if you say, oh well, now I have a theory that there's those things and those things, and so it's like 7, and maybe it's 4. And if you do that, which we did for the first couple of times, you start to run up against a risk of forgetting what you guessed.
Yeah, right. And we also knew that what we were counting wrong were the spears. Like for whatever reason, we knew that was what we like, and we focused on that. We like didn't waver on anything else, and we'd also made a pact from the beginning to not switch detours. Like we were like, we're just going to stick with it. Often teams are shot in the foot for doing that, and like maybe if we'd switched, we would have done
with a spear in the foot.
Yeah, I mean maybe if we'd switched, we would have done okay at that.
Spear with a flag on it.
I mean, we maybe, but like that other challenge, we could have been fine too.
Yeah, I think we could have been. I mean, that obviously was a challenge to take us out and lead to our self-elimination. But in hindsight, of course, we could have switched. But like,
we just couldn't count. We couldn't count to 5, or we couldn't stop counting at 5.
Yeah, right. If 5 was too few, you had to keep going.
Well, oh my gosh, we were just showing how high we could count.
Yeah, 18, for example, is a number.
Huge number.
I can't believe you guys were just going down and down. That's crazy. And so I think I saw you say on Twitter that because they were taking breaks in between and you guys obviously were just going down, it took you like 3 hours. This was
of standing on a freezing cold platform. I think it was like 5 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit. It was I like, and I will say like we were at least bundled up and had the extra like coats and stuff that they'd given us for the outfits.
And the hat.
The Great Khan, for example, was gloveless for 3 hours. It was really, and Leo speaks Russian, and so they would come by and be like, "We're cold. Could you please get it?" Like they would say,
"Oh no!"
The answer, but they didn't know the answer either.
Yeah, they're like, "Have you tried?"
They probably didn't even know the question.
And you just feel so bad, and you're like feeling bad for yourself, and you're feeling bad for everyone. You're just in this purgatory of the Great Khan.
Each tea break was probably 15 minutes. You know, why would you rush your tea break? Everyone has to line up, fill their cups with boiling hot tea, and warm up their fingers to go at it again.
It was so
oh man,
it's part of the job, I guess.
Jeez.
Wow.
Rough.
It was really, really rough, and we felt very bad, and we did not know how to solve the problem.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you did eventually get through it.
You did.
And then you show up.
Every number, yes.
Look, you do what you got to do.
You were guessing negative numbers, like negative 4 spears. I don't know.
All right. You show up and now you see that you've been yielded. Walk us through this. How do you feel at this point?
I think that Alana said, and I think I agree, we're disappointed just in what was happening to us, but not shocked just that a team had yielded us because we were in last. It's, getting down to the wire. And I think, we got to the yurts and every single team was there. And that's when we thought we had, we were still in it.
I think even with the yield, we were like, oh my gosh, every team is still here. There's a small
even with the yield.
Like that was such a hope. Like here's the thing. Yeah, like even with the yield, it was like, this is hopeful. We can watch the teams for this 20 minutes, figure out what they're doing. Like, I mean, I think really we were as energized at that moment as we were really disappointed.
We've gotten past it.
I mean, I will say also the producers are like swarming around you and they're like, how does it feel now? No one has ever liked you. Like, how does it feel now? And you're just like, what? I really just couldn't count earlier. Like, it was rough. It was rough. But I think we were like silver lining. This is a long whatever it's called, route info, and like maybe there'll be a roadblock. And we were just really banking on being able to catch up.
As you were waiting on the yield, you're studying the other teams, seeing what they're doing. Are you seeing teams leave at this point while you're waiting?
I think right as our yield finished, Will and James, I think we were right as our yield was over, but we were like the drive up to that area, because that was like a really like a rural nomadic area. It was like a 45-minute drive, and we were like, okay, we could figure this out.
Plenty of leg left. I mean, the detour was detour, right?
That was a route info.
No, the
detour
battle. Yeah. That was just the first part of the leg, right? Yeah. So at that point, we didn't get lost for 6 hours. We didn't take a penalty. It was horrible, but we didn't think we were out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would think if you're seeing the other teams, you're like, okay, we can still make up the time if you had been yielded and everyone was gone, you'd be like, okay, well, I guess we just take our time with the yurt.
Then it's like, hey, let's buck up and just finish it when we can. But we were like, let's do this. Like if we can kick into high gear, maybe we can figure this out. And we did really well at the yurt. I was really proud of us for how well we did at the yurt challenge. Like we made up a lot of time. A part at Ishwar have to have been there for as long as we were
their
at the
engineering skills didn't help them now.
Yeah.
We keep seeing that. Yeah.
Berkeley engineering.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, I believe we tried to do our research here, but there have been so many seasons. But we think that you guys are the first team ever to be U-turned and yielded.
I think you're right. I also tried to figure that out, and I was like,
said,
"We've made history. Bring us back to All-Stars and use that as our moniker."
Right.
History, and I think I saw that Kayla and Haley made history being the first team to issue both a yield and a U-turn. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw on the internet. On the internet.
Yeah.
And then also, someone mentioned that not only did they do both of those, but their targeted teams were eliminated in both episodes.
That's correct.
Oh, interesting. Wow, lots of history there.
Those blonde bandits.
Yeah. So what is you guys' sense of like what that means in terms of your relationships to the other teams? Is it just like, wow, these people hate us and we don't understand why? Or how are you taking it in the moment when it's happening?
I mean, I think with the U-turn, we felt like, you know, I mean, as we've said in our interviews during the race, like we just felt sort of confused. I mean, like now the answer is very easily explained as we weren't in the Mine 5 alliance. So they U-turned us, like, and we were targeted by that alliance. I mean, with the U-turn, I think we were like, you know what, like at this point, the competition has only gotten fiercer.
Do you mean the yield? Or
the yield, sorry. Like the yield, like the competition's only gotten fiercer. Like we probably would have done the same thing if we'd been in their shoes.
Yeah, second to last.
Right.
I mean, that's not even the fact that like they peer pressured them or like they colluded. My opinion is they should have yielded us without James, you know, keeping out of the yurt and opening his pie hole. And they then, like, they weren't going to for some reason. I get it. Like, I also don't want to make someo's life harder, even if it's a competition. Like, there's a strong human element that, like, you know, I mean, unless you're James. But the, you know, they did the right thing by yielding us. I was just surprised that it was even a question.
So what made you guys apply for the Amazing Race after basically just starting to date? Like, how did this come together?
We applied for fun.
Yeah. It was just like a fluke afternoon activity. Like we thought we would make a video and then we made dinner. Like it was like I didn't think about it more than that. Like, I mean, I loved the race as a kid and watched it with my mom religiously, but I didn't think like that our, you know, slap together video that we made in 2 takes in which I like hold up our cat at a certain point and I'm like, what? I have no idea.
Yeah, there's no expectation. There was no pressure. It was the first time you had applied, right?
Oh, for sure.
It was the first time I had applied. I didn't know the show as well as Alana at the time. We were just looking for something to do, both in the moment and also, I guess, later.
We were like, I mean, really, the pitch was like, our friends all think we're crazy. We just moved in together. We've been dating for 5 months.
We met on Tinder.
We met on Tinder. Like, prove to everyone that we're as insane as we say we are, and now cast us on this reality TV
we'll
show.
Do anything.
Like, please.
We're scrappy.
It'll be hilarious.
We're nerds. I don't know. Like, go ahead, cast us. That was basically the video.
Yeah, we're like, we dare you.
And ultimately, I mean, honestly, you guys are married now, so it looks like it paid off, but like how much did the race affect your relationship?
So we definitely got to know each other in super high stress situations in a way that we hadn't before. Like we hadn't encountered, you know, major life obstacles at that point in our relationship, you know, being honest. And then we get on the race and, you know, the level of stress, like 1 month basically of stress, pressure, and self-doubt that you then share.
Well, here's an easy way to measure stress. Okay, so Leo has diabetes, and when he gets stressed, his blood sugar goes up, especially on the first legs when we were just had no idea what was going on. Leo's blood sugar was like through the roof. Like a usual blood sugar is like in the like 90, 100, and you were at like 300, 400. Yeah. Like,
oh my God.
4 hours because we were like, it is a kind of stress. I think it's a very like unique kind of stress and pressure, but it really teaches you how people act under those circumstances. Like what I learned from Leo, which is something that I was 1,000% looking for in a partner, was someone who could be calm, who could calm me down, who wouldn't like make me feel bad when I wasn't doing well, who would like make me feel loved. And like all of that was true tenfold, right? Like I think if anything, I was probably a little bit more snippy and like pissy than he was. And honestly, I would do nothing differently.
Yeah. I mean, we learned how to handle ourselves and each other with each other in these super high stress situations. Like Alana said, with my blood sugar, the flip side of that is, yes, there's like a meter inside of me that tells you how stressed I am. Like you can measure it, but also that is in my mind and like affects me physically, mentally. And so, you know, I do think one of my strengths is in those situations, I know not to, you know, make things worse by snipping. But that doesn't change that, like, you still need to learn how to be supporting each other.
Sure.
And what it's like I didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know how the other would react. Like Alana didn't know if I would just be calm only when things were easy.
Yeah.
I didn't really know if, you know, how she would be. So
I just cried.
Now, and that's okay. That's okay.
Understandable.
That's fine. That was sort of great to learn, actually. If that's the worst of it, that there's just like a lot of fine.
Yeah, that's manageable. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, obviously, the Kazakhstan leg is fresh in everyone's mind, but looking back at the race as a whole, was there another challenge that stands out to you as particularly difficult for you as a team?
Ooh, I think that probably the most difficult, I mean, for so many reasons, probably the most difficult one was the shelter in the Amazon. I think like, I mean, that was difficult because we were just so emotionally drained and defeated.
We were in a dark
we were
place.
also like, we were also, I was physically sick that leg, as was Michelle, and like, none of us were feeling well. And I was also overheating to the point that security was like putting frozen blankets on me and telling me that if I needed to take a break, I should.
I was inserting chunks of granola bar into her mouth as she tied knots.
That's correct. It was
God.
And then we had done the whole thing upside down.
Yeah, which I will say was because the reeds had dried so much in the sun.
The example was like
the example
totally
you could
useless.
not use anymore, and so we were like, I don't know. It felt. At the time, it felt like something that we would be doing for our whole lives.
Just by contrast, like the sauerkraut challenge, super challenging, but kind of fun, kind of exhilarating.
I think that's also
working together with another team.
Yeah, I mean, our strength is always going to be those sort of like fun mental challenges that are like tricky, but you know, like you always know you can do it. Like the art challenge, like I knew we could do the
even the circus challenge, like you knew you could do it. It was just
I just needed to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, I know you guys have to run. I have one last question for you. Do you have the photo from the teledisco framed and hanging in a special place?
I am so we saw this on Twitter.
We're rule followers.
We had to. I know this is the problem. So you have to return all of your clues at the end of every leg so that you don't do this. And that was a clue because it had like go to the Ondil Hotel on it, and so we turned it in at the end of that leg. And I wish we had been sneakier. We do actually. I did keep one clue envelope, which is hidden away somewhere.
We also have our yield.
We do have our yield. We have our
Can I go get it?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I will say the best thieving from this season is that Aparna has her fanny pack still.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we have a secret bag of all of our
secret bag.
We haven't opened this bag in a long time.
Very secure.
So here's our little yield.
Oh my gosh, that's so great that you have that.
Wow, yeah, this bag has been hiding for 2 years.
Oh man.
No, there's nothing inside.
We've got our flag that all the teams signed at the
wow.
We all have these.
Yeah.
That's
that needs to be framed for sure.
Yeah.
We have some money from Trinidad and Tobago in case we go back.
Nice.
Oh, and then our sweaty ass mic pack.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then that was
like our departure times.
Yeah,
and stuff.
This is you.
Nice.
Anyways,
that's
it. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. See you on Twitter.
All right. Bye.